everybody, welcome to the part of 99 Percentile. This is the podcast which is going to change your life for the better. I'm here, Manu Nicholas Jacob, and I'm with my guest Amber Vanderburg. And today we are going to be starting off the podcast with a bang. So Amber, can you tell us about yourself and what you do?
Hello, Manu. Yes, I am the founder of the Ninja Group. So the Ninja Group is a corporate consulting company. So we do trainings all over the world with corporate teams to help them perform at a higher level. So we address many different levels of performance that come in with building teams, bringing value to teams, training teams, and retaining teams, and addressing the challenges within each one of those four pillars to help teams perform at a higher level.
Great. And how do you describe a typical day in your current role?
Well, every day is just a little bit different, but generally whenever a day will consist of various trainings. So right now, most of those are being done virtually so that we can safely social distance. But I will go into different organizations and different companies and give different keynote speeches or trainings and workshops for teams and organizations, giving them the tools that they need to be more successful in their performance. And so generally within a day, I'll give you an example for today. After this call, I'll be giving a keynote speech to a large organization for their kickoff event. So I'll be speaking with them for a bit. And then I'll be doing a 6-hour training for a different company, addressing different forms of building diverse, inclusive teams within that. And so how that will address performance as well. And so today we'll be doing a lot of training and speaking.
Yeah. And I see that you have a lot of experience. Could you just tell our listeners and our viewers out there how you initially started off as well?
Uh-oh. I'm so sorry, your audio went out. Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, could you tell our listeners and viewers how you basically started off in the beginning?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a formal education in business and in communications. And so I started off with my formal education in that area. And while I was going through university, I also began working in corporate America and began working my way up the ladder in those regards. Upon graduation, I actually moved to India in Bangalore, so very near where down the street from where you live, and I ended up working there for a bit with different sports teams. And so I was able to apply these business concepts of building higher performing teams and training higher performing teams and applying it into a sports setting.
Okay.
Since then, I've come back to the US and I've worked with various I worked with a few other corporate teams. I worked with a training company, and it's all of those experiences that led me to start my own company to address really team performance and using those concepts from my research from higher education, my experience in corporate America, and also that sports dynamic and that fun laughter dynamic within the training as well. So we have very highly interactive training sessions and highly interactive workshops, and a lot of that comes from the work within the schools and the sports programs as well.
Yes. And if I were to ask you what you would have wished to know when you had started off?
Yeah, whenever I had started off, I think that the first thing that I wish that I would have known is to honestly not be prideful and ask for more help. So I think that especially whenever starting out, there was a sense of pride of, okay, I can do this. This is what I am doing. But I wish I would have been more proactive in reaching out to my mentors and reaching out to other subject matter experts and talking to other people to get their insights, to get their advice and to heed their help. Because at that point, especially even now, I don't know what I don't know. And there's people that have been doing this a lot longer than I have. And so I think one thing that I wish that I would have done or I guess I wish I would have known, is to take the time to ask for help and to heed the advice of others.
Yes, and that the basic insight is to be more curious as well at a younger age as well, right? Yes, and I was talking to another guest a few days ago, and he was talking about how when he was younger, the single most important thing he wanted to tell his younger self was that he should have been much more curious when he was younger. So that's kind of the thing. And talking about curiosity, what is a thing which you're really curious about right now?
Right now, I'm very curious about what the future of work is going to look like post this pandemic season, and so we're not going back to the old normal. We're creating a new normal, right? And so right now, I'm very curious and heavily looking into what the future of work is going to look like and how we can still best serve our teams and our employees in this new landscape and in this new evolving landscape. And so that's an area that I'm looking into quite a bit right now.
Yes, and talking about mentors, talking about people who you have learned from, are there three really influential people who you have taken inspiration from in your life?
Oh, wow. Yes, much more than three. So I always laugh. I say that, there's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and I say that it takes a metropolis to raise an entrepreneur. It takes so many insights and mentors from many people. Honestly, whenever I first started out, whenever I was in university, one of the most influential people that was in my life, especially in my formal education in that regard, was a man named Dr. Mark Rutland. And he was actually our university president. And he came into the university and really transformed the university. And being able to learn under his leadership or complete my formal education while watching him transform the university and take his insights and his lessons and be able to listen to his speeches. It was very inspirational for me, just even starting out to get those insights. And then really moving forward from there, another person that I speak with quite often is a man. Oh, I'm sorry. Another person that has been really influential has been my family and my dad especially. So my dad is also a speaker and an author, and he does international trainings as well. And so being able to kind of have a father-daughter relationship with that, I was able to do some trainings with him and watch him even from a very young age to get some insights from him as well on how to give different trainings and how to connect with people. And then another person that's been a true influence and a champion of my success has been one of the business owners here in Oklahoma, and his name is Jared Murr. And so I actually did work for him for a bit. So he was actually my boss, but even before that, just watching the way that he was a leader to his team, the way that he casted a vision for his organization, and the way that he was is so genuine in his relationship and his caring for his people was so inspirational to me. And I felt like every single day that I went into the office, I learned something new that I wanted to implement into what I'm doing today. And so those are three very different takeaways from each one, but each one implemented a different facet of what I am doing today and had a major impact.
And you also mentioned about how you have a few sessions today, a coaching session down today, and a few things like that. How do you prioritize your tasks for the day? And do you set it into the most important tasks in the beginning or the most important tasks down in the day in the afternoon session? And how do you do that?
Yes. Oh, such a good question. That is something that I am constantly revising to find the best way. Right now, what I do is I do have a task list. So I have everything on a list, and then I take those and I time block my calendar. So, for example, even something like emails. So I get a lot of emails every day. So I have a time block on my calendar to make sure that I have intentional time to answer those emails in a timely manner. Obviously, training, that's where you get paid. So that has been number one, right? The speaking and the training. And so that is follow up with my team for answering my emails for new projects. I make time for your content creation, and so I do take all of the tasks that I have to do. I kind of put them in a backlog, and then I look at those.
I'm sorry, your audio is kind of spotting.
It's the most important. What do I need to get done today? Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, I put them all in my, I put them all in a backlog, and then I prioritize them, and then I put them in my calendar from there. So yeah, what I do is I start off the week and I do make my weekly goals and my monthly goals, and then the tasks that I have to do, I do look and see, okay, what is necessary to do right now? What's going to help me reach my goals? And what is a little bit lower on the totem pole as far as importance.
Yes, and also when we talk about goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, maybe even yearly goals. Now, could you tell us about a time where you actually started off with a long-term goal in mind and actually worked towards achieving that goal?
Yeah. Yes. So whenever I make yearly goals every year, and one goal that I have continuously made is the amount of books that I read, and so that is something that generally I read about 75 to 85 books per year. But in the last couple of years, my goal has been upped to 100 books a year, which takes a lot of intentional reading, sometimes whenever you don't even feel like reading. And so, so what I do is that's a big number as 100 books, but I have that, and then I make a list of books that I would like to read, different topics that I'm interested in learning about. You asked about curiosity. A lot of times, I might not even know what books I want to read, but I'm really curious about this one thing, and so I'll make a goal to look into different areas in which I'm curious. And then I do make a list after every single book that I read, so I can track my progress on how many books that I've read.
That is really interesting, and I've read and heard various places that CEOs read 52 books a year. And the readers are readers. That's basically the point behind this. And when you're talking about books, I was reading one before the meeting right now, and that's basically the time when, even though there is a good amount of work with the last year of school, the last year of high school, I think we all need to, whether we have a busy schedule or a relatively free schedule, need to find a certain amount of time every day to read a little bit at least of a book.
Mm-hmm.
And
now, absolutely.
Yeah.
School time is actually one of the most meaningful times to learn and to continuously read. I think that's you can take those readings and you can discuss them in your classes, and you can discuss them with your professors, and so you have a really strong community to really debrief and digest everything that you're reading as well.
Now, talking about curiosity when you were younger, talking about the amount of books you read, are there some unique skills which have helped you to become successful?
Unique skills. Yes, the ability to do trainings and workshops and speak publicly is a skill that not everyone has. Most people do have some sort of a fear of public speaking. I am a little bit rare in that I very much love it. And so that is one skill. But then also taking the time to have the insights and have the relationships with others. That has been, everyone seeks to improve in those relationships, and the more and more intentional that you are, it is a muscle and it is a skill that you practice and that you use. Things like empathy and communication, and having that sort of intentionality with your relationships is really powerful to having to leading people, right? So you have to have those one-on-one relationships with one another. I think a third thing would be vision casting. So I am very much a vision caster. So I look, 10 years into the future. And that is a very powerful skill. It is something that I have had to learn to balance with building relationships with people that are a little bit more detail oriented and in the weeds. So I see the forest, they see more of the trees. And so there's a powerful balance within that. And so it's important to know that as a leader of where your vision casting lies. And if you are one to look, 10 years into the future, to have someone that can kind of help you see more of the day by day. And so those two skill sets of being able to vision cast and then being able to build powerful relationships with a strong sense of intentionality have really been critical to my success.
Yes, and over your with all your experience all the way till becoming a keynote speaker, what is a common reason which people have for failing or giving up too soon? Like, what is a common reason why people kind of lose motivation early on?
Well, failure is never fun. Failure is never fun, and I think that many times it is a mindset. I have definitely failed more times than I can count. I've failed more times than I've succeeded. But you have to have a mindset of, I'm not failing, I am learning. And it's important to take the time and ask, what did I learn? And so every time that you do have a failure, don't just wallow in the failure, but ask, okay, what can I learn from this experience that can make me stronger moving on? And I think that oftentimes people do give up for a lot of reasons, but a big reason is failure. It's uncomfortable, it's challenging, it's hard. It's not something that we long to do, is to fail a lot, but it's something that, it is that uncomfortable, hard thing. And then the second thing is, whenever we do fail, the mindset that we take and how we address the failure, in seeing it as failure or seeing it as a learning opportunity, is really powerful in our motivation to get up and keep on going.
Yes. And are there some really important, or are there some really useful resources which have helped you along your way?
Yes. So reading, of course. Clearly, I'm a massive advocate of reading. So I do not just read. There are, wonderful personal help books, motivational books, read quite a few business books, but I also find extreme motivation and mindset from reading memoirs and biographies and stories of businesses and organizations and history. And so I look at a variety of different readings to truly help. I also look to my network. So your network is going to be pivotal in your ability to get up and to keep on going, and to find that motivation and to find that perseverance. As I said, it takes Metropolis to raise an entrepreneur, and a lot of times that does come from sometimes whenever you fall down, you might not always feel like getting right back up again. And so having that network to really encourage you to get up is so powerful. So whenever I work with a lot of young people, we actually spend 20, 30 minutes sitting down and writing down who is the champion of our success. And actually physically writing down who is in your network is, first off, very mind-blowing on how many people you have surrounding you. Usually I say, okay, you have to have at least 15, but oftentimes people get even more than that as we keep on writing. And so identifying who is in your network and who is a champion of your success is so critical. And then also use other resources like podcasts and like online learnings, like what we're doing today. So find resources like this podcast that will help you engage in real life conversations and real life dialogue on how to continue to progress toward success in your life.
And to kind of winding up the whole thing, is there anything really important, like a very valuable insight, which you would add for our eager listeners out there?
So I would like to leave you with one quote, and that is that if you can achieve your dreams all on your own, then you're probably not dreaming big enough. You want to achieve something more bigger than yourself, you're going to have to include more than yourself. So again, look to your network, look to see who you can include in your adventure, and just go out there and change your world.
Okay. So I think that wraps up the whole podcast, and thank you very much for also being a part of it.
Thank you so much for having me, Manu.
Thank you. And so for content like this, don't forget to visit our website at part99percentile.com. And also don't forget to follow our podcast at part99percentile.com. I also make videos on YouTube and manipulation blogs, and I will link all of this in the description down below. So remember, if you work on 4 things every day, I'm sure you'll improve every day. And these 4 things are visions, goals, tasks, and relationships. So I will sign off for now, and I'll see you in my next video.